The hospital was silent, so still it felt like sadness itself had taken over the halls. Everything was cold and white, with only the gentle hum of machines and the quiet murmur of whispered prayers breaking the silence. The overhead lights were harsh and too bright, and under them stood Tamela Mann, her hands shaking and her eyes swollen from hours of crying. She clutched a wrinkled medical report, her voice trembling with fear as she faced the cameras. "They said the next 48 hours will decide everything," Tamela said softly. "If she doesn't respond, we might not get her back." These weren't just words for the news. They were a cry from the heart. Just a few steps away, her mother Tamela Mann, the gospel legend with a voice that lifted souls, was lying still in a hospital bed. She wasn't breathing on her own anymore. Machines were keeping her alive. Tubes and wires covered her body. Beeps from monitors echoed through the room like a countdown. David Mann, her husband and partner through every storm and song, sat in the corner, his face buried in his hands. He didn't speak. His eyes were red. His grip on a worn Bible was so tight it looked like it was the only thing holding him together. He used to be her strength. Now he looked completely broken. Tamela held up a photo of her mom smiling, joyful, full of life. "She gave so much to all of us," she whispered. "And now, she's the one who needs saving." Time felt like it stopped. This wasn't just one family in crisis, it was an entire music community shaken to its core. The world of gospel music, which had leaned on Tamela's voice for healing, was now praying for her to survive. Tamela Mann wasn't just a singer. Her voice had helped thousands find hope during their darkest days. Now, the woman who brought comfort to so many was fighting a silent battle in a hospital room, her own voice quiet. The machines beeped on, marking time in slow, painful moments. Every sound either gave a sliver of hope or hinted at goodbye. Tamela's hands trembled as she read from the medical file. "She's not responding. There's an infection in her brain. The doctors say the next 48 hours are critical." Her voice broke as tears streamed down her face. "She might not wake up." She paused, the weight of those words too much to bear. Just days ago, her mother had been fine, laughing, singing, planning a new tour. Then, suddenly, she got a headache. She seemed confused. Hours later, she couldn't speak. They rushed her to surgery, thinking she'd pull through. But she never woke up. Now, Tamela was in a coma. The doctor's report said it plainly: acute encephalitis, post-surgery complications, minimal brain activity. The word prepare was highlighted. Prepare. But how do you prepare to lose the heart of your family? Tamela showed another photo, her mom hugging her grandkids, lighting up a room with joy. "She's not just a gospel icon," she said. "She's our home. She's the woman who taught us how to have faith, even when the world gave us none. And now she needs that same faith from us." The hospital turned into something more than a medical building. It became a place of prayer. Family members, friends, pastors, and fellow artists came in waves, singing, crying, hoping. The same people Tamela had lifted with her songs were now lifting her with theirs. Social media lit up in hours. "Prayers for Tamela, stand in faith." 48 people across the world joined in. Stars offered support. Churches held vigils. Fans posted their favorite memories of her and begged for a miracle. One post read, "She helped me through the worst time of my life. Please don't take her yet." Still, inside the hospital, hope and reality clashed. Machines didn't understand prayer. They only measured numbers, and those numbers didn't look good. Tamela stepped back from the cameras, her whole body shaking. When she returned, her voice sounded different, less hopeful, more afraid. "We've reached out to every expert. We're doing everything we can," she said. "But they're telling us we have to start thinking about what's next." She couldn't finish the sentence. Her voice cracked. She covered her face, crying harder than before. Then, quietly, gospel star Yolanda Adams walked up and placed her hand on Tamela's back. She didn't say much at first, just stood beside her. Then, with calm strength, she said, "This woman gave everything she had to God, her family, and her community. We are not giving up on her." Church bells rang in cities across the country. Candles were lit. Prayer circles formed and stayed up all night. Over 700 people gathered at a Texas church, holding hands and crying together. One of Tamela's most famous songs, "Take Me to the King," suddenly felt too real. The woman who had sung it was now on the edge of meeting him. Leisha whispered to a friend, "Mom always told us, if you have nothing left, just pray." So that's what we're doing. Because only a miracle can save her now. The machines kept going. Tamela lay still. The bright lights flickered above her, and time refused to move forward. Leisha never left her side. Her voice was raw from praying, her eyes puffy from crying. But she didn't stop. She held her mother's hand, once so strong, now lifeless and cold. "Please, Mom," she whispered. "You told us God never fails. Please fight." David finally stood up. Slowly, he walked over to the bed and knelt. He leaned close and whispered, "You kept us all together. You carried this family with your faith. Now let us carry you. Please hold on." He kissed her forehead and cried, not like a famous man, but like a husband who couldn't imagine life without her. Leisha knew she had to go live one more time, not for attention, but to speak the truth. Holding up her phone, she said, "This is Leisha Mann. I wish I had better news. I really do." She paused, trying to catch her breath. "The doctors told us this morning brain activity is dangerously low. If nothing changes in the next 48 hours, they don't think she'll wake up." The world listened. Millions held their breath. She continued, "She's on full life support. Her heart's beating, but she's not breathing on her own. We don't know how long we have." Then she raised the same photo she'd been carrying for 2 days. "This woman is my hero. She gave everything for her faith, her family, and everyone who needed hope. She loved without limits. If you're watching this, please pray. Even if you don't believe in God, if you believe in love or light or healing, send her your strength. Because we are not ready to say goodbye. Not yet." The live stream ended, but its message spread fast. Pastors shared it. Celebrities reposted it. Fans from every corner of the world offered their prayers. In Atlanta, a pastor stood in front of his church and said, "Tamela gave us hope. Now it's our turn." Then, finally, something changed. A nurse quietly approached Leisha. "Her breathing's a little better," she said. It was only a tiny sign. But after 2 long days of nothing, it felt like a sunrise. Leisha and David held each other. For the first time in days, they smiled just for a second. And for now, that second was everything. Sometimes, hope doesn't shout. It doesn't always come with fireworks or loud cheers. Sometimes, it whispers. Softly. Quietly. Just enough to remind us not to give up. In Tamela's hospital room, that quiet hope was all they had left. Machines beeped steadily in the background, their cold rhythm marking the time that kept slipping away. Nurses walked softly, their faces serious. No one was talking. There was no laughter, no chit-chat, just the soft hiss of oxygen and the almost invisible rise and fall of Tamela's chest. Her skin was pale. Her lips no longer held that bright smile the world knew so well. Her hands didn't move. She looked peaceful, but not in the way you want someone to look. She looked like someone who was fading. An angel whose light was dimming. Tamela Mann had always been the one people turned to when they were hurting. Her songs were like medicine. Her words lifted people out of their lowest places. But now, she was the one who needed saving. And it felt like the whole world was holding its breath. Tia, her daughter, hadn't closed her eyes in over a day. Her face was swollen from crying. Her fingers were wrapped tightly around her mom's hand, which was now cold and still. Her eyes never left the screen beside the bed, the one tracking Tamela's heartbeat and brain activity. Every flat line, every unchanged number, it felt like another heartbreak. "I don't know how to lose her," Tia whispered. "She wasn't just my mom. She was my everything. My strength. My safe place. My whole world." Out in the hallway, the family had gathered. Some read scripture. Some just sat and cried. Everyone looked tired, drained. David, Tamela's husband, stood frozen in the doorway. He hadn't said a word since the surgery. Not one. He wouldn't look at the bed. Wouldn't look at his daughter. Grief had wrapped itself around him, heavy and unshakable. Maybe he felt helpless. Maybe he blamed himself. Maybe he couldn't believe this was real. Online, the heartbreak was spreading faster than anyone expected. Gospel fans, pastors, actors, singers, everyone was posting about Tamela. Hashtags trended in countries she had never even toured. People shared stories about how her voice saved their lives. Some said her music had stopped them from giving up. Some said they found God again because of her. But beneath all the prayers and posts, one awful truth sat like a weight: Tamela might not survive the night. The family released a short statement. One of Tamela's nieces read it aloud, her voice shaking. There has been no improvement. Her brain function is declining rapidly. The next 24 hours are critical. We ask for privacy, and most importantly, your prayers. Right after that, a machine alarm went off. Sharp. Loud. Terrifying. The heart monitor spiked. Doctors rushed into the room. Nurses followed. Tia screamed as they pulled her back from the bed. "Mom! Mom!" she cried. Tamela's body moved slightly, just a small shake. Not a miracle. Just a reflex. But still, it was something. Later that night, Tamela was stable again. Still unresponsive. Still not waking up. Tia got into her car and went live on her phone. Her face was puffy, her voice tired and raw. "They're telling us it's probably brain damage," she said. "They don't think she'll fully come back even if she makes it." She paused, looking down. "A couple weeks ago, she told me something. She said, 'Don't let them keep me alive if I can't smile or sing.'" That line shattered millions of hearts. Churches began quietly planning memorial services just in case. Gospel choirs held midnight prayers. Tamela's record label went completely silent. No announcements. No press. Just waiting. And still, people had questions. Where was David? Why hadn't he spoken? Rumors started. Some said he felt responsible, that he hadn't acted fast enough when Tamela said she had headaches. Others said he just didn't have the strength to watch her like this. Whatever the reason, he was quiet. Broken. A shadow of the strong man he used to be. Then something happened. At exactly 3:17 in the morning, Tia filmed a video she hadn't planned to share. It was simple, quiet, and not meant for the world. David was in the hospital chapel, alone. He wasn't speaking, just praying, holding his Bible close, tears dripping down his face. And then at 10:43 a.m., everything changed. Tia saw it first. Tamela's fingers moved. Just once. Barely. But it was real. Doctors rushed in. Tests were ordered. Monitors beeped faster. Then a nurse turned to the family with wide eyes. "There's brain activity," she said. "Not much. But it's there." Tia collapsed into her chair, crying harder than she had in days, but this time it was different. These weren't tears of pain. They were tears of possibility. Of hope. David stepped forward, finally. He took his wife's hand, knelt beside her, and whispered, "We're not giving up on you. Not now." Tamela didn't open her eyes. But her heart rate leveled out. Her skin was warmer. Her body didn't do much, but it wasn't slipping further away. It was holding on. And sometimes, that's enough. Sometimes, hope begins with the smallest sign. Tia went live again, but this time, her voice had a new tone. It shook not from sadness, but from strength. "She's fighting," she said, sobbing. "My mom is fighting. She's not done yet." The internet exploded. A miracle. That's what people were calling it. A comeback. A second chance. Tweets flooded in. Hashtags soared. Tamela rise. Hold on. 48 hours of faith. People who didn't even believe in God were lighting candles, singing songs, sending love. Because this wasn't about religion anymore. It was about love. About honoring someone who gave so much of her heart to the world, and now, the world was giving it back. As the final hour of the 48 passed, something else happened. Tamela's eyes fluttered. Just for a second. A blink. A blink that changed everything. She was still here. No, she wasn't fully awake. The battle wasn't over. But she was still fighting. And that was more than enough. This wasn't just another sad story. It was the beginning of something powerful. Something we don't see every day. A miracle unfolding in real time. One breath at a time. One prayer at a time. Tamela Mann, the Queen of Gospel. A woman who turned pain into praise. A mother to millions of souls. She is still here. And now, we carry her the way she once carried us, with faith, love, and the belief that no matter how dark it gets, light always finds a way in. A woman who turned pain into praise. A mother to millions of souls. She is still here. And now, we carry her the way she once carried us, with faith, love, and the belief that no matter how dark it gets, light always finds a way in.